I can't believe you didn't get it.
1, 2, 3. Hey! Welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 188. Most times I wish we were recording prior to.
I'm glad not
This
today.
time I am so thankful.
So over the line.
Oh, it's too far. Too far.
Anyway, Doug Fields here with the queen of all queens, Katie Edwards, Josh Griffin. I was going to go Matt McGill, but then I just changed mid-course.
We're saving the best for last.
There you go, Matt. We're hoping he shows up this week, and it's a good thing. Everybody doing well?
Yeah, they're doing great.
All right.
Once again, I'm a little sleepy because just ready for something to happen.
That's all right.
Dude,
That's
all
all
right.
right. Glad
Pull
that
it
you're
together,
here.
man. Here we go.
Everybody doing okay? Do we want to share anything? We had a nice conversation about Azusa Pacific online, not the online. You guys doing the master's course?
Yeah.
We talked about that.
One of our
before.
sponsors of the show.
We talked about our primary sponsor, Youth Specialties, doing the live show at San Diego.
We are marching on. I'm proud of us. We're going to hit 200 in San Diego. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. We might even
Give
have
or
to
take.
slow down a little bit.
I like it.
I don't know. I don't know
Never
what,
slow down.
I
Knowing
don't know what
us,
we're going
knowing
to do.
us,
Yeah, that's true.
8 shows the last day. We made it. All right.
That's right.
No, we got this.
And we need actually start sending in ideas of what we could do for
Yeah.
the 200th show.
Yeah.
Ideas that wouldn't require any work.
Yeah. And very little money.
Yeah. Well, ideas like, because I can just, people say, let's do highlight video.
Let's do it.
Yeah, maybe a rewinder could.
Yeah, I mean, we could give a prize away to someone who did something great
Yeah.
for us.
It's been a lot of shows.
Actually, that could be funny if somebody made a highlight video.
Yeah.
Could be.
That was only 30 seconds.
Okay, moving on.
Did
Matt, are you
go for
sunburned?
a second?
You are bright red right now.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
asphyxiating?
trying to make the blood go to my brain.
Can I slap you in the face as hard as I wanted?
For what? What would I get out of it?
Joy?
No.
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 That'd be kind of
Maybe for
just
a new
quick
MacBook
quick
Pro.
update. Quick update. You
Try to talk
haven't
to the
you haven't died yet, so no new tattoos. We haven't haven't gotten any ink.
Oh,
God, that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I just feel like every so often we got to bring that up, just in case, as we march towards the big 5-0.
Big 5-0. Big 5-0.
The
Is Kathy
big.
gonna do a surprise party for you or something?
I don't think so.
Oh, she will.
Are you the surprise party type?
I would be
He
more the
loves
surprise
surprises.
other people. I do like surprises.
Or like surprise intimate dinner party with just Kathy? That would be fun.
And me.
And Miguel.
How late night dinner was
So is
You're
this a
too
master's degree? Cool. All right.
All right, so we got books to give away from the from Leader Treks.
Yes.
We've got our what we're calling
books from
kind of
Leader Treks?
excitement. Yeah, Leader Treks just has a lot of leadership stuff for us
Yeah.
to give away,
Yeah, it's
and
good.
they're great that they give us stuff, and we just send them the email with who got it. They get it.
Make it happen.
We've got from the book New First Steps for New Christ Followers from Youth Ministry 360. We're going to give away another free tuition to the National Youth Workers
are going to get
Convention.
in trouble. They're going to catch on to what we're doing at some point.
Well, I've already been talked to about that, and that's why I'm only giving away one.
But like
one
youth
per
workers,
show?
It's a magical gift, though.
It is
it is.
magical.
We will ask for forgiveness later.
Well, it's a big
so we're
deal.
good youth workers.
Getting
Because it's
a book
not like
and
it's like
getting
pull in money from doing the conference. I mean,
Yeah, they'll buy
I mean-
stuff in the bookstore or whatever, right? Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm saying you don't pull in money.
Yeah.
I mean, running a conference does
Conferences-
not make money. I mean,
No, right. But it makes
I mean, we
fans,
know that because we've
develops
done
relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
Conferences are worth every penny. I go to convention. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
It is so fun.
There's a line. You don't want to be like a junkie, and they live. That's not good either.
Yeah.
But
You don't want to be that guy.
you don't.
And if you can't
yeah.
afford it, you can
Throw
always
that
get
in there all
training
the
through usphere.com.
Exactly.
All right.
You don't want to be that guy either.
YM Garage 10 for 10% off.
YMG Sphere.
Oh, too long. The code is.
I know, I'm gonna work on
It's
that.
too long.
Too
And
long.
Sphere.
You don't
I
wanna
mean,
be
you can
that
still-
guy.
Here. I forget the rest.
All right. Here we go.
I would like a T-shirt, a picture of all those guys you don't want to be like. That would be very informative for me.
A T-shirt?
Yeah,
You don't wanna
just
be
a little
that
picture.
guy?
You don't want to be that guy.
The conference guy, the network
that
guy,
that
the guy who wants a job and's been on a job for so long. he's-
Yeah, whatever. All those guys you don't want to be.
Yeah.
It would be a little negative, but still.
No, maybe right up your alley.
My negative Avenue? Yeah. There'd probably be all different expressions of who I am.
Negative Avenue. Oh, here we go.
Kick that thing into gear. Okay,
Here we go.
all right. Speaking of gears, just enough youth ministry so you don't feel guilty for listening.
Yeah, warming up.
Here we go.
Warming up.
We should say that a lot more often.
Taylor
It's a
Foley.
tagline.
That was kind of early year. Did you know that was their tagline?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that because we used it since you've been on? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We kind of dropped that.
You have kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a little more youth ministry than before.
Well, once
Yeah.
Katie got here, kind of the
she's
show
kind of like,
went
let's go.
way
Don't
up.
waste my
Yeah.
time.
I mean, we were,
Probably.
let's be honest, we were an award-winning show before Katie got here.
Sure. Have we won any awards since then? We have not.
Well, we haven't checked.
Oh.
We haven't checked. We haven't been informed.
Yeah, there might be a lot of awards out there
I would
floating around
assume,
that.
yeah, a
Yeah,
daytime
see.
Emmy.
Yeah, we've got people. Go to the website, youthministrygarage.com,
And vote.
And vote for no awards. But we have people that are on the Hall of Fame that have all watched 188 episodes.
You know, we don't need awards because we're just treasures. Just putting treasures up there in heaven. So it's okay.
That's
Heaven's
right.
up there, huh?
It's where is it?
Good job.
Where's heaven?
You the one that sells a series on it.
DownloadYouthMinistry.com. Just kidding. Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, questions. Here we go.
Should we-
Questions. Start over.
Go to a question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, here we go.
Just enough you.
Matt, join us here.
I'm ready for you.
You've
Dude,
got a
we-
big ego because it used to be where I could get you to put the phone away, and
No,
now
you would take it.
Did you see the shock on his face?
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
What?
now
Ego,
you're just
what?
you're like you mock me by having that there,
no.
and then you
It's
even
called
mock me more
intelligence.
when you look at
It's
it during the
called
show.
intelligence.
Taylor Foley from Cape
I
Coral,
won't indulge your
Florida.
double standard while you check your own phone.
Hey, podcast gang, this question's for Josh. Several episodes
I
ago.
don't like sounding this way. I don't
Too
like
much
it.
pressure.
You guys, they make fun
It's
of me.
not all giggles
Hey,
and smiles,
people-
is it? Don't be that guy.
All right, go ahead. I just go ahead.
Okay. This question is for Josh. Several episodes ago, you mentioned your brainstorm team that meets weekly and helps you plan high school ministry. Could you share a little more detail about that team? Is it planning for just the message, videos, skits, music, worship, etc.? How much freedom do you all that team? Taylor needs a little
yeah, that's
writing
right.
now.
Oh, goodness.
Do you all that team to take the lead for the actual program? Thanks for all you guys and gal do for the youth ministry world and the kingdom.
Very
Josh, you got a
You
minute
have
and
the
40
floor.
seconds. Go.
We have a sermon and series team called our Brainstorm team, and they help me out on a weekly basis. Sometimes we do it monthly during the summer, specifically right now. And we get together, and everything is on the table. So help with the sermon, absolutely, but also help with video ideas, music selection, games, set decor, anything. We do it. They do it all. I tell them very strongly up front. I say, do not hold on to these ideas too tightly, because you're only going to be disappointed. But many of these ideas have been used and will be used, and so let's just put it all up on the board, and then we'll see it youth group. Sometimes students will volunteer to help.
You have 1 minute left.
Yeah, well, good. I'm actually wrapping it up. I'll slow it down.
No, tell them about the one idea that you were talking about earlier today in your brainstorm session. That was.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you do,
What?
because it was an idea for a sermon series, and you're like, maybe not. You still don't remember
Just
that?
up. Just soup.
Oh yeah, there
Soup
was
up?
one.
Soup Jelly.
There was one. They wanted to do the series
Not every
title.
idea is a good idea.
That's true. It was called Soup Jelly, because I want to do this series on like coveting and jealousy and contentment, and they're like, Soup Jelly will be awesome. And I'm like, what is Soup Jelly? And they were really into it. And then finally I found out it was Super Jealous, and it was Soup Jelly. We're not doing that series, but thank you for your help. So sometimes bad ideas or average ideas get morphed into great ideas. Sometimes a student will say, I'll go film that video, or I'll volunteer to write that script even, or whatever we might be doing. Sometimes it's really involved. Sometimes, I take some of that on myself. A good example would be, we did a series a couple months ago called Triple X Church. It was really cool. Had Craig Gross in to speak. He's from triplexchurch.com. And he spoke on pornography and all that stuff. And one of their ideas was to use chains all over as like a metaphor or whatever to what pornography traps us and binds us, whatever. And so we did. We got some plastic chain and painted it up so it looked metal and rough and whatever, and used it in our youth room to make it look that motif or whatever that they had suggested. So when they walked in, they were like, "Oh, this is my idea." It was really, really fun. So, and some students helped even create that and whatever. So, yeah, everything's on the table, but then it runs through the filter of me, and I say, "This is what we're going to do," and we move forward.
So it's not a democracy. It's a brainstorm session that you
Yeah.
It's a dictatorship.
It's really
a lot like the movie.
It is. It's dictatorship. It's an idea share. It's collaborative. It's but at the end of the day, those ideas get pooled have to be filtered by somebody.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. That's great.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. It's great.
You're laughing at something.
Yeah, you're
Come on.
bright red. Look at her. She's
No,
turning red
just
too now.
I'm just laughing at you. Your little comments. That one just struck me. I don't know why.
Josh, why don't we do this? Why don't you forward Taylor Foley something from Download Youth Ministry, a series
do.
or something that would be
yeah.
applicable to.
We have one called "The Future Is Now," and
Okay.
students. We did that one this past fall, and the students helped a ton with that one.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Okay, and for anybody else who wants something off Download Youth Ministry, they can put in a code YMG.
Garage,
YM
YM
Garage.
and get 10% off.
All right, there you go.
Already low prices.
Yep.
Cha-ching. Here we go.
All right. This is from Darren Chilson from Gastonia, North Carolina. I'm a full-time youth pastor with other pastoral responsibilities in a church of 150. We currently have about 10 students who come regularly and have a decent team of leaders who are learning. But I just had a conversation with my senior pastor where he put some pressure on me to show fruit in the youth ministry to grow in numbers. How do I deal with the constant pressure to grow in numbers when there is internal growth happening?
When there isn't.
When there is.
Oh.
When there is. So basically,
the
so when
kids are growing
kids are growing
themselves.
spiritually, but I'm feeling the pressure for numerical growth.
Yeah.
He's the first youth worker to ever feel
Pressure for numbers.
No, I'm teasing Darren that you're not alone. This is a very, very common question.
Yeah.
Common
Why
question.
don't you answer it first? Your new revelation these last couple of years.
What is my new revelation?
Numbers don't matter. Growth matters. What? Sup, Jelly?
What's up, Jelly? It's funny. Buy you a can of jelly.
It's not a new revelation at all. I'm just happen to be at a church right now where we're not counting. We're making that one of the values, and that's, when people say, "Don't you want to grow?" We say, "We want you to grow." And
cool.
It's a top-down leadership. The guy who's the senior pastor, that's his value. We're not pressuring people to, we're paying a lot of money for a box so that we can go out and get a bunch of people to fill the box to tithe to pay for it. We're going to disciple people and walk with people, and
It's cool.
it's just a different gig. It's not the pressure that I felt it when I was at your church for 11 years and your church for 20. The pressure to grow. I'm also a volunteer. That's all, that adds to it as well. But when your paycheck is tied to a job that has expectations that your ministry be a certain size, you feel that all the time. And there's other ways to identify fruit. The problem with that is that you're always looming in the background about, your kid could be sharing about how they want to grow close to Jesus, but you're bummed that you had 70% of last week's attendance because of proms or something like that. So, I think we've got to, I've said this a ton, we've got to figure out ways to show health outside of just numerical. That there are kids that are walking with Jesus, there are volunteers who are doing relational youth ministry outside of your commands or demands, that parents are engaged in faith development, that they're having faith conversations. There's other ways to show fruit, but it almost always points back to, especially, those of you who are paid, it points back to this expectations, because people want to get the bang for their buck, and if you're not producing numbers, they want to get somebody who will.
Well, in a 150-person church, that's a big deal to have a youth worker in a church of that size and, I assume, a senior pastor or whatever. So I can sense there's probably a lot of pressure for numbers to get it closer to 200 or whatever, and bring in some extra tithe money and kind of ease the pressure. You bet. I would say always have a story ready, because you're not able to show big growth in numbers. So I would say always have, not an elevator pitch, but something like that ready to go. So when someone says, how's youth group going? Don't be like, it's going good. We had 7 kids last week. But say, man, I am seeing this, whatever, Johnny, and his life is completely different. Yeah. And we're still figuring out how to reach friends, but tell the stories of what's happening, and that is a way to begin to change the culture. Because you're not going to win with numbers. If you have 10, that it's going to take some time to build a little bit. And so, man, and 12 doesn't feel that different from 10. To you, it's hugely different.
Yeah.
But to them, different is 35. And to get to 35 from 10, holy smokes, that's difficult, impossible, whatever. Yeah. So stories can help be the pathway, not to buy you time, but to legitimately change the culture, to show this is spiritual growth that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
The way you said not to buy you time makes me feel like you mean to buy you time.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's going to take time. You don't walk into a youth ministry and go, okay, it's at 10, so this time next year I've got to have 25.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of senior pastors think that way. But it takes time to build health.
I think we don't do that enough as youth pastors, just take the time to share just the great stories and the great things that we see happening in students' lives. There's not enough storytelling and story sharing.
Yeah.
So that's a great suggestion.
Well, I think also for people who are listening, who maybe they're not in that pressure situation, or they're volunteers that are going to a job or transitioning, I think it's one of the questions you've really got to ask before you go in is what is the numerical expectations? Not is there one?
Right.
Yeah.
What is the numerical expectations? I mean, people don't hire you with the hope of you shrinking the ministry, but know what those expectations are, and know that looms around a culture. Now, do we wish it wasn't there? Yes, we wish it wasn't there. We can hide behind all kind of slogans. We count people because people count. Well, that's always said by leaders who want you to get more people and count
all day long.
Justify that. And I think I understand stewardship. I mean, to me, if we're paying a salary to a leader, what are the fruits of that person's leadership?
Sure.
Now, it doesn't have to be numerical. I mean, but we decide as a church culture what we're going to measure and be a steward of that person's time for. But I think they need to be consistent. It needs to be a consistent stewardship issue. So, pastor, are you holding them to the same standard that you're holding yourself to?
Right.
You've got a church of 150. Is anybody in that church?
Never happened.
Well, is anybody in that church saying, "Hey, pastor, when are we going to get to 200?" Are you feeling that same expectation as well? So.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot easier to grow a youth ministry when the church is growing too.
Yeah. I am going to send you via our sponsors, Leader Treks. I'm going to send you a book called Leading Youth Ministry by Doug Franklin. It's an interactive resource to help youth workers grow in leadership. I mean, that's one of the things we can grow in. We always talk about maybe I can't grow numerically, but we can grow ourselves.
Absolutely.
And Doug has some great resources to help us do that, and we will send those. Leading Youth Ministry. Matt, did you want to add to anything there?
No, I mean, I get that. I'm not I don't have a lot of external pressure in my life. I'm not built that way. And so my whole life, I've felt the pressure of numbers through you, but I mean, I just working for you while you felt that at Saddleback. But I'm definitely in a situation where I feel it, and I feel it because even with the size of the church and the size of our youth ministry, that's one of the reasons why I took the position, because I thought, that is so out of balance. Let's try and make that happen.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, the frustration was something that I stepped into, and then, but the part that was surprising is just the timeline that they were expecting.
Yeah.
So I feel that pressure, and I'm not having quick success, and so I just know how bad that sucks. But it's just not great.
Yeah. Well, you are having success in terms of you can quantify a lot of change.
Right.
You're not seeing the numerical growth that you're hearing people want you to have.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'd say it's been an unbelievable year and a half. I mean, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of things that have been changed, amongst the volunteers and amongst just the feeling in the office and the way people are relating to kids. Legitimately, I've built 2 full youth ministry teams in a year and a half, which is actually in a year because I didn't start the first one until 6 months in. That's really difficult to build a team and to build a ministry at the same time, and so it's just been wacky. But whatever.
So if this person wanted to call you, they could call you.
Seriously, we could just.
I could relate.
Totally.
You guys could drink together.
Smoke doobies.
Yeah, I went legal.
Yeah, you went legal. Isn't doobies what you guys did when you were little?
Well, if you have
70s?
glaucoma, that's legal.
Totally. Seriously, medicinal doobies. That's what I'm talking about.
Isn't that what your mom does for a living?
Exactly, all day long, just dispense marijuana.
Marijuana.
This is from Ashley Lehman. Ashley
Hey,
Lehman
Ashley!
from Millersburg, Pennsylvania.
I want to turn. Where is it? Oh, I see what you did
Hey,
there.
we're on a question here.
Okay.
My name is Ashley Lehman from Millersburg, Pennsylvania. I have a question
Ashley!
for you guys concerning transitions. I've been in youth ministry for about a year, and from the beginning, I was in charge of volunteers. Being 23 years old, this was a new experience, being in charge of people, even if it was on a limited basis. But now we're starting our summer program, and I've had to hire 2 part-time summer staff.
Hold on a sec. Remember being 23 years old?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I just thought we'd pause for a second. Okay, go ahead.
And think about Tori. Tori's 23,
Seriously.
working for you.
Whoa. Dream of her life right there.
Youth ministry.
You what?
I'm glad.
You're not 23 in youth ministry?
I like being older in youth ministry.
Oh,
23.
23 was some great days.
I don't even remember 23.
Sure, you
So
had a
many
mustache.
With all the medicinal glaucoma stuff you were taking.
You had a mustache.
So many.
You had a mustache that stuck
So
out
many
further than your
mistakes
nose.
and dumb decisions.
85. What grade were you in 85?
4th.
You were in 4th grade?
Yeah.
Wow,
I
how'd
think
you
so.
go there that quick?
Well,
So-
the 84 Olympics that year I was in, I think I was in 3rd grade, so that's just what I think
Holy
of.
smokes.
Yeah.
I always
have a
think
weird
of
memory.
when
I have
Ronald
numbers
Reagan was
memory.
president. That's how I
Reaganomics,
Yeah, Reaganomics
trickle
all
down
day.
theory.
Or the space shuttle blew up 1986, January 28th.
Oh, goodness. You love flying things.
I do love flying things.
I was at Fuller Seminary when it blew up. Came out of the classroom.
Wow.
Yeah, heard about it in the news. Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
All right.
Heard about
okay.
the news, huh?
Yep.
We're back.
The teletype came through Morse code. Hold on. The space... Doug!
That's exactly right.
We just took you straight.
I had to race to the payphone.
95. 95.
When you came out, when you became a full-time youth worker, were you 23?
I have no idea.
I was never a full-time youth worker. Yeah. He was paid.
He's
full-time.
done youth ministry for a while.
That.
All right.
I think that hurts worse than anything.
Wow.
I've had to hire 2 part-time summer staff.
Sorry.
I'm having a difficult time transitioning from volunteers to paid staff in that I do not know how to really make them feel like we're working together instead of them just working for me. I really want to be a good leader and would really appreciate any advice or resources you would suggest on not only being able to lead well, but also on being able to really build a team. Thank you for all so much wisdom and any help you can give.
Are they only summer? Did I hear summer staff?
Mm-hmm.
Part-time summer staff. It is hard to create that in the summer for the 3 months, the 2 months or the 3 months that's there. I think part of what you can do, there's a couple different angles. I think everyone's going to have feedback, so maybe you guys should go first. So
No, I'm enjoying
I
it.
just jumped in.
No, it's about time you take some initiative.
Yeah.
Part-time youth worker.
Part-time youth worker. I think part of it when it's a short-term thing, it's really hard to get in there, and by there I mean into somebody's passion, and figure out what it is they're passionate about and help develop that. And so it's probably their ministry responsibilities are probably going to focus more on the task side, on the here's the 10 things that need to do. And chances are they're not going to be able to develop some huge, big, awesome, like, hey, here's my thing that I'm contributing to the ministry. 2 months is just not enough time to do that. I think part of what you can do to create the team feel and just the fact that you want it is really cool, because I think a lot of people, they would rather have authority than they would have a team, or they would rather have responsibility and positional rather than positional leadership, rather than earning the trust. And so I think that the attitude to have is, you might be handing them a task list every week or every 2 weeks, but there's a difference when you hand a task list to somebody and say, hey, make sure you get this done. It would be great if you got this done quicker, or man, it would be really good if you did this super fast. Like, that's one way to hand off a task list. Another way is to, when you have an attitude of, you know what, it's my job to serve this person, even though they're doing tasks, it's my job to earn their respect, and it's my job to be somebody worth following. And so I think that mentality, where you wake up and you think, it's my job to earn their trust, so how am I going to earn their trust? I think part of that, creating a team feel, and it's just not me handing things to them, is you ask opinions, and you say, hey, well, what do you think about this, and what do you think about that? Now, in a 2-month time, you can't have a discussion every day and wonder about the nature of youth ministry, but you can have stops along the way where you say, hey, well, how do you think we should handle this, or how do you think we could do this, and talk together, and let them make the decision. Even if it is on small stuff, let them make a decision. And here's where the rubber meets the road and the knife goes into the heart, is when they make a decision that you don't like, to let them still do it, because that'll be a lot better than correcting every little thing that they do. But I think at the end of the day, at the end of the summer, which is a long day, if as long as you are giving them stuff to do, but you're having dialogue and you're earning their trust, that it's also important to point out things that you're seeing in them, but also to point out stuff like, what are you learning through this? Where is God moving in you? What have you learned this summer? Like, to have some of those questions along the way makes it way more of an equal than a not equal relationship. Sorry, that was long. Read previously. Thought you were praying.
I was praying for it to end.
I'll let you guys. I had the option.
No, I've been a little tired, so I needed a little cat nap.
Yeah. That's how I
great
felt.
Things.
Yeah.
Thank you. For those of you that were listening,
Name one.
So a lot of great things. I like the part about
Their task list.
earning their trust, earning them and earning their trust, serving them. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I think summer staff builds some great relationship with them, and let them be in on things, with you when you're planning and thinking, and
Part of building a team is just doing things together.
Yeah.
So, I agree with Matt that a summer internship, you're using them in some ways. You're hoping they learn. They're in it for the experience, tag along. But the more you can do lunch with them, hang out with them before and after a program, debrief things with them. That's how you build team, where we're doing this together. You're helping them see the combined effort of it. But I think it's hard to do that in the summer, and it's partly why for many years I didn't allow summer internships, because it just feels like we use people and they kind of use us for their resume. We allowed summer internships if they grew up in our youth ministry, so we didn't have to spend the first half of the summer teaching them culture,
right.
That they were already part of it. But I think, us having a summer internship is more win for them than it is for you. So. Matt, you did a good job with that. I was just teasing you.
No. Well, what about Griff, someone that has had summer interns for the last 4 years?
Summer now, yeah.
You guys have summer interns too?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would just throw out one additional thought. I wasn't necessarily going to, but I think building a good team takes time, and you don't have it. And so you have to be really intentional right up front, and then stick to those things. So in the case of my summer interns, I've scheduled breakfast with them every couple of weeks, and we hang out and talk and laugh, and it's all casual and all fun, no agenda, whatever. When I'm going into a meeting,
no agenda. You're not saying what do you
I guess if there's an informal agenda, I got a couple questions in my head, but that's it. No, here's the 5 things. I'm not teaching them or whatever.
You don't have elevator questions?
No, but whenever I'm into a meeting that I feel like it's something they could glean from, but I tell them, hey, jump in on this meeting. You're an observer. But if he is, whatever.
Yeah.
And so even this morning we were doing like a fall planning thing. Summer interns will be long gone, He said, pop on in here really quick, let's do it. And they loved it. And a few of them even contributed. So it was cool.
Yeah, that's, last week I went to a lunch with Jim Burns, and we were meeting with a donor.
Yep.
And this guy's very, very wealthy, and I just went along for the ride. But I watched Burns. I mean, I'm pushing 50 years old, and I'm learning how to have a meeting with a donor.
That's cool.
Because I don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess in the church I did with tithers, but just watching how he talked to them and subtly casting the vision about what's going on, and
cool.
So I do think people can, if they're sharp, they're going to sit in and watch how you run a meeting, how you resolve that conflict, how you kind of stop that guy from talking too much, whatever.
Just pretend to sleep.
We do that with our teams. I mean, we try to pull in, take a person with us or bring people along to certain things.
That's good.
Well, and if you have this one had 2 summer interns, I would just say count on one of them being late. Because whenever you get a couple summer interns, they're young enough and they don't take it as seriously initially. So we have one on our team who I love, but all summer long he cannot be on time.
So he actually is falling in your.
Yeah, so it's kind of like me.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. I'm really growing.
That's funny to hear you say that. This is from what?
Nothing. Oh, I just love it.
Black.
Last week, Mr. Incredible, fat guy. Now this week, getting killed by one of my very best friends in the whole world. Don't worry about it.
You're not getting killed.
Doesn't he say, look, if I'm 5 minutes late, I consider that early? You're kind of the one that's kind of cavalier about that.
Yeah.
You kind
if only one of your friends would write an affirming blog about you.
I know. I wish. Oh, it's been so long. Go ahead. Would you please?
Yeah.
Wearing
your
2
blog is
hats.
Awesome. .com. Actually, yeah.
Was that secret information?
No, it's now for.
Just go to the next question.
Mark Eads. We haven't heard from Mark in a long time.
Writer.
Oh, long
All right.
time, no World of Warcraft.
Good dude.
Hey team, been a while. Such he knows.
He's aware.
does know.
Thought this question might be a good one. How do you keep yourself motivated when you feel tired and used up? Matt? Summertime.
The story of my life working for you.
Summertime is hit, and there's a lot going on. It's different than the school year, but really doesn't slow down. It just shifts to a different gear. How do you keep yourself motivated? Why don't we each give one answer to that? How do you keep yourself motivated?
Chocolate. Does that work? It's delicious.
Or dark or milk?
White.
White? Really?
You're so
That was actually good.
Why do you say
all of the above.
I like dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
All, but dark. Yeah, I love dark.
Really?
Yeah.
Dark more than milk.
I like platinum chocolate.
I don't even eat dark chocolate. That would be the one. That's like kryptonite
It's
to me.
healthier for you. So.
I know.
Yeah, it's dark
I know. I wish I didn't like milk chocolate.
Let's just not answer the question. Chocolate.
Yeah, where did chocolate come from? How did that?
Kind of like a table of chicks right now talking about chocolate being
Yeah, look who started it.
Funniest guy at the table.
Yeah, everybody
Stay motivated. Stay motivated. Stay motivated. How do you stay motivated,
That
Katie?
was so mean, Katie.
For me, I feel like, I don't know, my soul's refreshed when I hang out with students without it being at a program or a something, when they're at my house or when we're just out talking and having a fun time. Like, I love that, and I feel like that's a motivator for me, just being around teenagers as they are, not trying to accomplish anything together. It's fun.
It's cool. I would say break the cycle. Whatever pattern, routine, rut you're in, break it. So change up youth group, change up your work habits. If you're not very relational, go be relational. If you're super relational, just try something new.
That's a good one.
I'm a little bit into that all the time, though. Stay refreshed by shaking it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Strategic shakeup.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's actually that was going to be my answer. That's right. I'll go a different route. I think in a given week, there are things that drain you and things that replenish you. And for most of us in here, our week is filled with things that drain us. Meetings, prep. To me, You don't.
You don't
prep?
get excited by prep?
I don't get excited about prep. No.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like to prep. I like to focus and think and stuff like that, but it doesn't refresh me. Like when I look at my week and I go, I got a podcast, I go, that's, I mean, I get excited about this. So, you know, if you go in your ministry, if you go too long without a podcast, or, you know, there's just some people
you go too long without a podcast.
Well, for me,
all podcasts are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, for you. Okay.
Yeah, for me.
I thought you were like, giving advice.
No. But when I left staff
Yeah.
and went to volunteer, the only thing I missed was the community. Well, most youth workers didn't have community anyway, so they're more like my situation. Yeah, so I have to strategically go, when are those times of refreshment in my week, and schedule that in. And you know, when you're in a rut or you need to stay motivated, you need to find more of those, what I would call VRPs, very refreshing people or places to go to, rather than the VDPs, which is the very draining people.
Yep. And
You
all
got
these
initials for those.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's Chim.
So chimtastic.
So 1984.
Time alone refreshes me. I mean, I like being with people, but to spend time journaling and reflecting is refreshing. Time with students is great for me. I mean, I like being with students. It's almost like anytime I'm with students, like I'm always, I never have any questions about what I'm doing when you're with students.
Yeah,
it's
that's
when
cool.
you're in meetings. Or,
Like with okay, keep that idea very refreshing or very draining.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out some scenarios, and you just quickly say.
Oh, yeah,
you
you're
quickly say refreshing or draining. Okay, ready? Teaching. Go.
Love it.
No,
Refreshing.
refreshing or draining. Okay, food.
It's very refreshing.
All right. Meeting with your boss.
Not so refreshing.
Lesser refreshing.
No, dude, I feel like I deserve a master's in diplomacy.
That
Did
was
you hear
strong.
me say that?
That was strong. You
I
could
said
run for
not so
office right now.
refreshing. That's excellent.
Diplomacy.
Instead of soul stealing,
Some,
shallow husk forming. Yeah, that was great. There were so many other things I could have said.
All right. Let's
VRP.
Let's send Mark. You know what we haven't done in a
VDP, I
while?
was like, wait a minute.
I need to think of this. We need to send Mark the Remedy Live kit, which we haven't done that in a while.
what's in the kit?
We need to talk to Remedy about what do they really want us to send.
Yeah.
Like as a sponsor, they're a key sponsor.
we should send
What is
people.
Why do they
to
have
their
headphones on their logo over there?
I
What's
don't
that
know
about?
what
Is
is
there
in the
music?
Remedy Live
Their
kit.
video
it's
show?
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna get it
it's
now.
music. It's crisis.
Yeah, they have like a call-in hotline thing and a text to chat with a youth
No, we know what
worker.
they do, but
Yeah,
what's their
phenomenal.
packet?
Yeah, why do they have headphones? Is really what I'm thinking.
This.
Those are headphones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can
Like,
listen to
listen
great
to us?
music.
Oh,
and stuff.
or it's the silhouette of a mushroom.
That's it. It's negative space.
All right, keep going. Refraining scotch.
Scotch. You and your scotch.
Scotch. What? Refreshing or draining?
I would say refreshing.
Okay.
Podcast, refreshing or drink?
Seriously.
Which week?
Seriously.
Okay.
It's
Refreshing.
hard being on top.
Uploading the podcast.
Oh, drain. For us
Every
too.
megabyte just steals my
A
soul.
little bit of routine.
Until I get a new computer.
All right. Would you rather meet with your boss or upload a podcast?
This is so horrible.
All right.
The podcast is so great because everyone's going to get to download it. I mean, there's just so much joy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
the potential
sure.
of joy.
Yeah,
it's like
the-
joy at your fingertips.
I don't hate uploading the podcast.
You just don't do it well.
It just takes so much time.
Yeah.
It monopolizes my slow computer.
All right.
Yeah.
This is from Kyle Williams, and Kyle
Hey,
Williams
Dub.
says, I am reading your book, First 2 Years in Youth Ministry, for a college class. It's a great book. Thank you, Kyle. I have a quick question I hope you can answer.
It's got an exclamation point. It's a great book, is how you read that.
Okay. I'm still in the intern phase. You just broke the table down. The leaf came down and hit me in the groin. Just slapped that thing.
Draining.
That was a little bit of both.
Oh, edit it out.
And we're back.
Should we talk about the fact that we had to edit one of our recent podcasts?
Oh.
And that I wasn't the only one to get edited.
Culprit.
Somebody else at this table.
Let's not talk about that.
All
And
right,
Douglas
here we go.
Montgomery
All right,
needed to
question
be
about
edited.
first years.
It's a really great book.
I'm in a college class.
There.
I'm in
That's the
the
only reason why I'm reading it.
I'm in the intern phase of my ministry, but will soon start my full-time youth ministry working for some church somewhere if the Lord wills. I really like to talk about concerning establishing a youth staff team, but I'm wondering about how many people is enough. I was wondering if you have a rough ratio of a youth staff to teens in order to make sure that the teens are being ministered to fully. I know you talk about a 5-3-1 relationship, and I'm wondering if this is your answer. In that case, I should try to encourage a 1 staff member to 5 teens ratio. Thanks for your time, and may God bless you.
Oh.
God
That's
bless you,
refreshing.
Mary,
That's
gentlemen.
All right.
Great. So, what are the healthy ratios of leaders to students? Go.
It's such a crazy. Every church has different stuff. I remember when we were working together at Saddleback for the high school ministry, there was another mega church that had like 8 people doing just video or something like that. It was another mega church, obviously in America, and it was like, whoa, really that many people? But the situation that I'm at now, we have tons of staff, and it's because it doesn't warrant the size of our ministry does not warrant the amount of staff that we have. But the senior pastor is like, no, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to, grow this thing. Let's get people in there and yada yada. I think it's really hard to come up with a formula. I know executive pastors like to do that and say, oh, for every 150 kids or for every 300 or blah blah blah, let's have a ratio and stick to that. I think it's hard.
But do you think he's talking more about volunteers?
Yeah, I think he's talking about volunteers.
Like building a volunteer team.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
The last question just threw me off. So
Yeah.
we should delete me. Sounded like an idiot.
No, Kyle, the rest of us were paying
It's all just be
attention.
motionless.
He says a
and
couple
then we
of
can.
wise things about
There we go. We're back now.
No, you admitted what we know to be true about your team. Your numbers don't warrant your staff. So that was nice for you to admit that.
I've never not admitted that.
Oh, well. You're kind of draining.
Magic ratio numbers. Go.
Well, I think 1 to 5 is a great ratio. If you can get there, it's sometimes that can be tough. But I think 1 to 3 is really great. If you're mentoring, discipling, walking, I think that would be an awesome number to get
Absolutely.
to.
And one-on-one is great too. 1-to-1 is awesome.
Yeah.
I think for bigger events, you don't need quite as much supervision or whatever. I would say you could even go with like a 1 to 10. So if you had 50 students, I think 5 leaders would probably be
Sure.
okay. It might depend on if it's an overnight thing. I would probably have a little higher ratio there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a small group could flex up to maybe 7 or 8. Pretty healthy still.
Yeah, I think
It gets tricky after that. Really.
Well,
really
the
good.
5-3-1
Yeah.
would be a quiz because I know Katie.
Care for all 5. Pay attention to all 3. Pour into 1.
Not really.
More or less.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
I'll take it.
They're all synonyms for one another.
Oh, care, commit, create.
No, that's not true. It's
VDR?
PDYM.
Velociraptor? I don't know.
No, kind of the essence of that was to say if you have 5 kids, that has been trusted to your care, chances are that if you're going to say, hey, who wants to meet for, Cokes
That's
after
funny.
school?
This is
3, let me finish.
Yeah.
3 would show up, then tell me how funny it is. 3 would show up, but really you're going to invest in, chances are if you're going to a Disciple Now deal, you might get one of those kids to go with you, or you duplicate yourself in. But my point in all of it was to say, just because you've been given 5 kids to shepherd doesn't mean all 5 of those are going to show up and say, oh, disciple me,
Right.
adult leader. But it wasn't saying that
5 is the magic number.
5 is the magic number. I think if you could flip it the other way around,
Yeah.
and what if you had 5 adults?
for every one kid.
Well, just kind of, but
That would be flipping it around.
yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Though, but you have adults coming in. They're not maybe their senior pastor knows the kid's name. There's a older couple that's going to mentor the family. There's another parent that,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
Awesome.
crazy, and
That
I've
would be
never
the
heard of
church.
that.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say about the 5-3-1, there has been a few times that through the years that people have seen that as a ratio when really what you're talking about is the process that as commitment increases, attendance decreases. I mean that's what
the essence of it. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's not really a ratio.
No free stuff for this guy?
No, it was.
He misread the book, so.
No, I didn't misread it. We don't have his
It's
address.
It's a great question.
Thinking about building your volunteer team and finding leaders is such a hard thing and can be can be stressful at times. So.
One of his questions was how many people should he have on his team? I think that's a good question. What are you capable of managing and pastoring and leading really well? And if you have 4 or 5, that's not too hard.
Where are you going to find a supplement?
Absolutely.
Things you don't want to do or don't do well. So
totally.
Well, I went back through the questions because we hadn't sent the new book out from Youth Ministry 360, so we're going to send it to Ashley Lehman. She was the 23-year-old that got the summer interns.
Oh,
So we're going to send that to her.
Okay.
Everybody, it's always a treat for us to get together. It's a treat knowing that people listen to this and actually like it. That makes me happy. That's a VRP.
That's a VRP.
That's very
not draining.
It's very refreshing.
Refreshing place.
Yeah.
So not draining.
But this isn't a person or a place. What is this?
It's an entity.
Project. A space.
Yeah.
Just use the word space. You
Space.
sound very, people who use the word space also say followers of Jesus. So just it all exists together.
Christ followers.
Okay, we're gonna finish this thing.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm done.
Anybody else got anything to say?
I'm happy.
Call it. Yeah.
You happy? Okay.
Bring it in.
All right.
Now we're done.